It's 11 o'clock, and this is Sportsline.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sportsline. I'm Ron Rimmer.
And I'm Warren Wood. Glad you could join us tonight. Lots of football ahead. A preview of the PFC final this weekend, NFL Thursday night action, and high school ball as well for you this evening. Also, we look ahead to the U of R Cougars season opener tomorrow against the U of A Golden Bears, and more lockout stuff too. First off, though, the Riders and the Lions getting ready to go. Riders have decided on their kicker this week. Paul McCallum emerged the winner of the duel with Mike Lozecki, and the former Lion will now kick against his former mates on Saturday afternoon. Now, the Riders' defense did a great job in controlling Kent Austin last week and hope for more of the same on Saturday with the help of the fans. The defense harbors no hard feelings towards Mr. Austin, but if the fans can disrupt Austin the way the Lions crowd did to the Riders' offense last week, the defense would be much obliged.
This is a great sort of situation. I mean, I'd love to see the stands filled with people screaming and yelling, making tons of noise to make Kent upset. I mean, that's fun. That's fun for the fans. In all honesty, it's way out of hand. I mean, the guy's just moved his family. It's no big thing, really. But I think as far as the fans go, it's great. Let them have fun. Bring their goose calls or whatever they want to bring to the stadium, and I think that'll be fun. But, you know, as far as we're concerned, Kent's just a good quarterback that got traded.
I hope they lay it on even thicker. You know, anytime you can get into a quarterback's mentality, I think as a defensive back, that's what you like to do the most, because then he begins to think more on, you know, one individual than the whole thing. And then once you can't see, you know, it definitely causes problems for him.
Another walkthrough for Vida there, too. How many's that this season? The Calgary Stampeders are in Hamilton Sunday. The Tabbies hoping the presence of Doug Flutie will help sell some tickets, which the Ticats desperately need. But if Flutie doesn't bring in the crowd, maybe a couple of crazy fans will.
On a downtown Hamilton street, high atop a building at the base of a billboard, two students from Mohawk College are doing their best to help the Ticats flog tickets. They've been at it since Thanksgiving Day, and while it's impossible to say how many tickets they have helped sell, the one thing the two know for sure, at night, it gets cold.
The first night we almost had to shut her down. It was really cold. That's about the coldest. You have to be here to understand how cold it was. The whole sign was shaking in the wind. It wasn't too bad last night, though.
Great.
We actually got some sleep last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we got about 4 hours last night.
Oh,
compared to our half an hour the night before.
Oh, that's good.
That is.
Lots of noise, right?
Oh, yeah, lots of support. A lot of people honking. That's what we want. Okay. Honking and selling tickets. Woo!
The two will stay atop the billboard until an hour before game time Sunday, or until the Ticats sell 18,500 tickets. As of today, they're more than 6,000 shy of that goal. Nothing succeeds like success, and of late, the Ticats have been finding new ways to lose. 2 weeks ago, the Ticats defense surrendered 28 points in the final quarter and lost to the Argonauts by 3 points. Last week against Edmonton, specialty teams gave away the game with a winning point on a missed field goal. The CFL still rewarding failure, but the point was enough to give the Eskimos a victory.
I think we've shown flashes all year. You know, if you look at our record, we could easily have 6 more wins than we do.
We do have a number of rookies who are inexperienced and who are going to make mistakes, and you know, that's something that we have to live with. Hopefully it won't be crucial mistakes at crucial times, and you know, we can overcome them and win football games.
In fact, the Cats have 17 rookies on their roster at present. The one positive note is the fact their offense has started to produce more than 30 points in each of the last 2 games.
Everybody criticized the offensive line so terribly early in the season. Those guys are playing super, but you have to build the plays in according to what your offensive line can do.
We're driving the ball, we're throwing, we're running. I mean, it's just clicking on all cylinders right now. We just need to get over that last little hump.
That last little hump is known as consistency. And on such a young team as the Ticats, it's a tall order. Bill Bird for Sportsline.
Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock on the Taylor Turf, it's the Rams and the Hilltops for the Prairie Football Conference Championship. It's always a masterpiece when these two get together, and this one should be just as traumaculous. When it comes to rivalries, this baby is second to none.
Like Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed, The World and Saddam Hussein, Bert and Lonnie, No extra motivation is necessary when the Rams and the Hilltops get together. These two teams like each other about as much as John Wayne Bobbitt likes sharp objects. Try living in the Shaw household. Receiver Josh Shaw plays for Regina. Brother Simon, a defensive back, now wears the big H. Have the brothers spent time on the blower recently, talking about this upcoming PFC final?
Well, actually, last time we played him, I didn't talk to him the whole week, and this week I haven't talked to him at all. I don't think he wants to talk to me, and I don't really want to talk to him this week, so yeah, that's just the thing. It's a grudge. He's a Hilltop. I'm a Ram. You can't talk to those guys when the big game's coming up, so that's the way we're going to take it.
They haven't had the pleasure of meeting on the field in the first two battles between these two this season, but if the Shaw shall meet...
He's mostly on specialty teams, but imagine if somebody goes down, he'll be in there, and I won't take it easy on him. I'll take a shot at him if I have to.
Jason Beulah spent 4 seasons in Edmonton with the Huskies before joining the Rams this season. Even though the Huskies have a great rivalry right in Edmonton with the Wildcats, he had no idea what Rams versus Hilltops meant, but he does now.
Yeah, the first time around, I wasn't really too jacked about the whole situation. Like, back in Edmonton, if they were playing the Wildcats, all week, you could see the atmosphere was the same here as it was back there, but they beat us, and then the second time around when we won down there, and now I'm starting to get jacked for it. I know what it's all about now, and I know, you kind of want to show these guys who's right.
You know, folks, when these two bang helmets, it doesn't matter if one side has the talent of the Dallas Cowboys and the other, dare we say, has the talent of the Shreveport Pirates. When it's Rams toppers, anything can happen, and often does.
And there's times when they've won when they shouldn't have, and there's times when we've won when we shouldn't have. So, anything can happen. It's a very intense game, and both teams are always well prepared, and both programs always get their players into a position where they have the opportunity to win, and really then what's left is for the players to play the game on the field. And when that kind of intensity takes and becomes a part of the contest, then you're right, anything can happen.
Rams Hilltops, Regina, Saskatoon, for all the footballs in the Prairie Conference. The way it's supposed to be, it seems, the way the Lord up above wants it.
That's the way it seems. I mean, it's the 4th time since I've been here that we've played them in the final, and I guess it just speaks for the programs that they're always there and doing battle in the final.
It's playoff time and we're on a mission.
What kind of mission?
We're out to prove we're #1 again, and that means Canadian final. Canadian champions again.
Naturally, the Toppers are just as pumped as the Rams. They know that even though the Rams may have better talent on paper, anything can happen in one playoff game. We get more on the Hilltops preparation from STV Saskatoon's Peter Labardius.
We're going in as underdogs, but that doesn't mean a whole lot, really. In the past, it's always the Hilltops and Rams, it seems like, for first place, and this is going to be a real war.
Those are fighting words from a team that has shown plenty of fight this week in preparation for their biggest battle of the year, a date with the Regina Rams at Taylor Field for the PFC title. The Hardy boys, who split a pair of games with their rivals this season, have a pretty good idea of what it will take to knock off the defending Canadian champions.
I think it's clear we've got to stop the run. We've got to stop Darrell Leeson, or we've got to at least neutralize him. I speak from a defensive perspective, but I guess if we can do that, we'll put our offense in good position to move the ball, because we're not going to move the ball 80 and 90-yard drives. We're just not going to be able, we're not going to do that, and we're not going to make a lot of big plays. But if we can get the ball in good field position, win a battle of the special teams, we can put some points on the boards and beat the Rams.
Offensively, the pressure falls on second-year quarterback Sheldon Ball, who makes his first start in a championship game, and he seems to have plenty of confidence entering the biggest start of his life.
I think I really gained a lot of confidence against the Rams the last game. It's nice to know that you can step in there and help the team move. So, I'm just going to try and do the same things that made me successful last game, and just try not to give up the big play to their defense.
Talking about big plays by the D, chances are the Hilltops defense will have to force a number of key turnovers for the Toppers to pull the upset. But it's a rule they don't seem to mind a bit.
I think that's pretty much been the story of the whole year. Hilltops 94 is we don't score, we don't blow people out of the park. We have to go in and just play as hard as we can, and just back to basics, do what we can do, tackle, break down tackle, and control our gaps, and everything else is going to take care of itself.
That was Ryan Deback, by the way. Got some big boys. That number 76, kind of huge. Another trio of games in Regina.
Strong man, but the speed, he doesn't have the hand speed or the snap in those punches. They have to accumulate.
And one of the articles of faith in the sport is that the punch that really hurts you is the one you don't see coming. There aren't going to be many of George's punches that Moore won't see coming.
It surprised me the last round. George was really telegraphing his punches, and he was still able to get him off on Michael Moore.
Is Moore one of those fighters, Gil, who has a tendency to fight at his opponent's pace?
Well, that's what Teddy Atlas is trying to wake him up to not to do. He says, don't let him BS you. He says, he's trying to slow the pace down. You keep a fast pace the way Moore did at the very end of the last round.
Let him out of there. Let him out clean. Let him out clean.
Moore again landing the snapping jab here early in round 4. There's Foreman with the right-hand lead, made possible by Moore standing in close to him.
They haven't been 5 feet from the ropes in this fight.
117 with 3:03 remaining in the game. With the help of 3 straight onside kicks, successful onside kicks, they fought back for a 44-41 lead before they lost 48-44. As entertaining as the game was, the call from the broadcast booth was even better. These guys are, in a word, unchecked. Listen.
I want everybody that watches this telecast that's got their nasty, snarly butt on the way home back to Plano East, did sit here and sell out for your kids? That's right. You sorry dog.
It's open! They got it again! They got it again! Good gosh almighty, I don't believe it! This is unbelievable! Good gosh almighty, Joe Frack! Somebody give me something, I'm gonna die!
They've got to have a touchdown. Whitley going to throw, throws back!
He's gonna get in! He's in the end zone! I don't believe it! God almighty, they've got it! They've got it! Good God almighty! Everybody on their cars and the radio back to Plano, y'all done missed the greatest comeback of all time.
Here's the kickoff, 24 seconds left. Terrence Green, boots it high and deep. Gonna be
all right,
taken
just
back
seconds
at the
run.
3. Got a crease!
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh my God!
Oh my gosh, no!
Come on, no, no! Oh gosh! God bless those kids. I'm sick. I want to throw up.
He has leukemia. And if I could dedicate this trophy to him tonight and give him a couple days of happiness, this is worth everything.
He won over our hearts that night after winning the Heisman Trophy, and his Penn State teammates won 12 games that year. Bino Cook, who could ever forget John Capuletti as a football player or a man?
Yes, the speech that he made that night 21 years ago ranks as one of the great speeches in the history of sports, along with Win One for the Gipper and the farewell speech by Lou Gehrig at Yankee Stadium. John, when did you decide to have the trophy given to Joey?
Well, there was a lot of things going on at the time, and I was trying to put a speech together up in the room that afternoon, and at the very end is really, I think, when it came to that point where I wanted to say this and I wanted to do this, and it just kind of happened. I didn't plan it that way. It just kind of popped into my head, and that's what I really felt like had to be done.
The speech itself, John, what you wrote in the afternoon, is that what you said in the evening, or did it change?
It changed. It pretty much took over when I got up there and I saw my family, and maybe I didn't even plan to do that much, but it just started to happen that way, and I'm glad it did, and there was no turning back at a certain point.
John, I'm sure you've looked on with pride and amazement at both Nittany Lions candidates this season, but as a former running back, talk about the season that Kijana Carter had.
Well, I think that Kijana had a great season. He's accomplished an awful lot for a junior. He's had a consistent year. He's played well. He's been a team player. He's been fortunate to play on a team like that, which I think makes everybody better. But individually, I don't think he could have had a better season or done more things and stayed in there the whole year the way he did.
All right, John, thank you very much for joining us. We wish continued success to you. You know, since John Capuletti, no Penn State player has won the Heisman Trophy. And since 1978, no Nittany Lion has finished in the top 5. It was Vicina in '78. But that will change tonight because Kijana Carter had the kind of season that's impossible for voters to ignore.
It's hard to look flashy in Penn State's uniforms, but Carter's smoothness and agility, his rare blend of ballet-like grace and pure power, left spectators gasping and defenders grasping at air. Kijana's average yards per carry was a stunning 7.8, best among the top 25 rushers. He scored a touchdown once every 9 carries, and despite limited playing time in routes, Carter joined Capuletti and Kurt Warner as Penn State's only back-to-back 1,000-yard rushers.
Of course, Kijana, part of that devastating Penn State offense that, Lee, we've kind of watched this year with awe.
Football teams in the nation, and I've got Bobby Ingram. Bobby Ingram, I've got you on the air. Tell me, Bobby, Penn State had an explosive offensive team, one of the best college football teams in the history of offensively. Tell me, what role did Kijana Carter play in your team's success?
He played a big role. You know, he's the type of back that every team wants, and he's the type of guy who can break the big play any time. When he has the ability to do that, teams have to focus on him, and that allows us to make big plays down the field.
You know, this is an interesting situation. You room with Kijana Carter, and they say you never know somebody until you live with them. How is it to live with this guy, Kijana Carter?
Aside from the fact that he snores very loud and he's messy and sometimes lock me out of the room, you know, he's the perfect roommate. I've roomed with Keith since I've been here. You know, he's a great guy.
You're both juniors. What do you think? Is there a chance you and Kijana will be back at Penn State next year?
I'm not sure what's in Kijana's future plans, but personally, I plan on attending Penn State for another year, coming back for my senior season.
Good, Craig. I got you a scoop there, my friend.
You're the one guy I need scoops from. I appreciate that, Coach. Kijana Carter, your roommate, talking there. A lot of great players on y'all's ball club this year. Do you think, though, when it comes to individual awards such as the Heisman Trophy, that maybe some of the votes may have hurt you?
I think so, but I'm not arguing with that, you know. Like I said, I've been saying all season, my main goal was going 11-0 and have our team a chance to go to the Rose Bowl and have a chance for a national title. And we accomplished those 2 goals. So whatever awards come with that, you know, after that is just fine. But right now I can't argue, you know, I can have it, like I said, I can have a better season. My team can have a better season, so I'm really on cloud 9 right now.
A lot of people talk about your running skills, but from you, what makes you a great running back?
I guess my combination of size and speed, you know, for my weight, you know, I'm pretty fast for a running back, and my ability to break tackles.
Is there a point in time in your career at Penn State that you ever realized you woke up one morning and said, hey, I can play at a higher level than most of these guys?
Yeah, I think really last year, my sophomore season, after we played USC, you know, the first game against Minnesota had 100 yards and unlimited play time, and then USC had limited play time, but I still had 100 yards. And I think after that, I just gained confidence that I can play with these people.
What does it mean for you to be sitting right here tonight?
Words can't even explain, you know, being with other 5 great guys, you know, I'm just very pleased to be here. So much tradition here, prestige. Got to meet the old Heisman winners, and as just people, I'll share friendships for the rest of my life.
All right, enjoy the evening. It's a great time for you. To put his 7.8 yards per carry into perspective, only one other Heisman running back has had that kind of average. Mike Rozier with a 7.8 as well.
Kijana, one of the few guys in the room who's taken ballet lessons, but it served him well on the football field. We'll return to State College later on in the show and also hear from Kerry Collins. But coming up next, we'll speak with our next finalist for the Heisman Trophy, Alabama's Jay Barker, when we continue. And welcome. Barker's quarterback style is not among the most cosmetically pleasing, but it is among the most courageous. His strong belief in himself creates an even more powerful belief within his Crimson Tide teammates. Jay won 34 games because he was cautious and efficient.
Back in 24, they did not want to score an opportunity. The week, last week, in their win over Thunder Bay, had 3 interceptions, a fumble recovery, 3 solo tackles, 1 batted ball for a total of 22 defensive points. That guy was all over the field. Leeson now on 1st and 24. Looking to the end zone for Harvey. Complete for the touchdown. The Rams are on the board once more.
Well, again, a great throw by Darrell Leeson, and let's give the offensive line some tremendous credit. They gave Darrell Leeson time to stand back there. He found Sean Harvey breaking over the middle, deep in the end zone, delivers a perfect strike to him, and the Regina Rams put another touchdown on the board here against the Hawkeyes.
That offensive line, Corey Borsa, Scott Waters, the tackles, Dougie Clark, Trent Langford, the guards, Darren Bird is the center. You know, Paul, they are maligned all year long for their athletic ability and not being very good, but yet they do the job game in and game out.
Well, they certainly do, and one of their real strong points is pass protection, and we've seen some evidence of that here this evening, just doing a great job of giving the outstanding quarterback, Darrell Leeson, lots of time, and he's making it count.
It is now the Regina Rams 22, the Winnipeg Hawkeyes 7, with 7 minutes 54 seconds left to go in quarter number 2. You're listening to Rams football on 9.
Well, after picking up where he left off last week, Sean Harvey has again made 2 sensational catches here in the first half, including the touchdown that you just saw. In last week's game, Harvey was a dominant force for the Rams receiving corps as he made some spectacular circus catches. And now back to the game and the kickoff with play-by-play man Ron Rimmer.
Ron Rimmer, Paul Barnby, Ed Bankowski. We are back at Taylor Field where the Regina Rams now lead the Winnipeg Hawkeyes 22-7 with 7 minutes 54 seconds left to go in the opening half. Matt Kellett now on the kickoff, a low line drive kick. Wayne Shaw picks up at his own 5. He is across the 15 and is brought down right at about the 22-yard line.
Well, again, that Regina Ram defense has really set the tone here in the second quarter. Derek Fink coming up with that interception, bringing it back for a touchdown. And then the defense doing a good job of pinning the Winnipeg Hawkeyes deep in their end. That allows the Regina Ram offense to get back in the field. They capitalize on that. So again, now we've got the Hawkeyes starting from about their own 24-yard line. They really haven't done anything here on offense with the exception of that first opening touchdown that they managed to get. They've only picked up 1 first down here this evening.
And that opening touchdown gave them good field position to start with after a turnover by the Regina Rams. They have managed just 1 first down so far in this ball game. Shoop is the ball carrier on first down and give him a gain of about 3 yards.
Well, and give Dennis Losley credit again over on that far side of the field from his defensive end position. Again, a very disciplined, hard-working player for the Regina Rams. He's right in the right spot, gets a hold of that Hawkeye running back, throws him down after only a 2-yard pickup. So the Ram defense doing a good job of putting Jerry Moisey in passing situations, and obviously something that he doesn't feel real comfortable with.
6 minutes, 55 seconds left to go. 2nd and 8 for the Hawkeyes. From their own 25-yard line. Moisey's got some time. It is almost picked off by Danny Pascu. And I'll tell you what, on the receiving end, or supposed to be on the receiving end, was Marcus Howell, and it's a good thing for that young man that he did not catch the ball because Pascu would have taken his head off.
Well, you're exactly right. Moisey just dropping back and looking over the middle. Marcus Howell coming across inside. Dan Pascu was there, went for the ball, but I'm sure if Marcus Howell would have caught that, he would have paid for it dearly.
Danny Pascu, a great football player, one of the most well-built athletes you will ever see. 5'8", 180 pounds in his 3rd year out of Tom Collegiate. Hanna will now punt from his own 15-yard line. Beulah and Frankowski standing at about midfield. Punt bounces at about the 45, fumbles the football. Who's got it? I do believe the Hawkeyes came up with it. We'll wait for a signal.
I think the Regina Rams actually got that back. It seemed to bounce out of Frankowski's hands, but one of the Regina Rams coming back to block. It might have been Lloyd McDonald, actually. Again, a very short 23-yard kick for the Winnipeg Hawkeyes. Bounces in front of the returners. Frankowski does a good job of stepping up and trying to grab a hold of that, but Lloyd McDonald coming back to set up a block, falls on the ball for the Regina Rams.
Attaboy Lloyd McDonald, one of several Moose Jaw lads on this team. Lloyd out of Peacock High School. Moose Jaw, 6'2", 212 pounds in his 4th year. Hard to believe he still has another year coming up with the Regina Rams. 6 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Leeson, 1st and 10 from the Hawkeyes' 40-yard line. Tries to force the ball into coverage there. 2 Ram receivers were down there, but neither one could come up with it. It will be 2nd and 10. Beulah and Leeson both in the area.
Well, Michael Leeson just running from the slot back position over on the near side here, crossing almost right across the entire field, but Darrell Leeson following him all the way. He's got some tremendous time. As you said, Ron, really jammed it in there. Too many receivers and too many defensive backs in the area. The ball falls for an incompletion. Rams looking at 2nd and 10 now from the Hawkeye 40-yard line.
They lead this ball game 22-7 with 5:45 left to go here in the opening half. Leeson has all day. He can have a picnic back there. Still looking around. Now here comes the pressure. Gets away from one would-be tackler. Now looking deep downfield for Josh Shaw. Complete for the touchdown. Unbelievable play by Darrell Leeson. He had all day long. Shaw got in behind the coverage. The Rams have another touchdown. Oh my, what a play by Darrell Leeson and Josh Shaw.
Well, and can you believe the time that Darrell Leeson had back there? He was standing there, looked at virtually every receiver that was going down the field, couldn't find anybody initially he thought that was open, checked everything, and then started to roll to his right, took off, got outside of that coverage, threw the ball deep to Josh Shaw, the D-back, number 18, Jerry Krasinski, seemed to lose track of where it was. Josh Shaw behind him comes up with a big touchdown.
And do they bring in the triple diesel formation? Yes, they do. Corey Borsa moves into the backfield along with Orthner and Bailey. Full house backfield for the Regina Rams. 2nd and 1 yard to go. And a timeout has been called by the Cougars.
Right, St. Leonard didn't like that offensive set that they saw there, now electing to bring their short yardage people on.
Game. Leeson again looking to the end zone. Attempted for Chad Eamon, just falls incomplete.
Well, some pretty good coverage.
Wideouts, Dan Goodmanson will also see a lot of playing time. Sean Harvey, Chad Eamon, and Michael Leeson will share the duties at the slot back position. Now 2nd and 1 to go for the Regina Rams from about the 3-yard line of the Cougars. The give is to Bailey. He fights hard and gets right to the goal line. No signal of a touchdown as of yet. It should be a first down for the Regina Rams, and they should have 3 cracks to put it in the end zone.
Well, exactly, and actually the St. Leonard Cougars didn't do a bad job of defensing that. Jamie Bailey getting up ahead of steam, but not really getting the seam that he wanted to run through. Tried to find a little crack, then put his head down and made sure he picked up that first down. So that puts the ball on the St. Leonard Cougars 1-yard line. As you mentioned, Ron, the Rams have 3 cracks to try to get it into the end zone.
They still go with the triple diesel formation. Borsa, Bailey, and now I believe is that, yes, Orthner in the backfield. And the Rams are in for the first touchdown of the ball game. And I didn't see who was carrying the ball there, Paul, did you?
Quarterback Darrell Leeson just took that ball and, yeah, leaped right over top of Darren Bird, actually, who got a good block, got nice and low, took out the defender for the St. Leonard Cougars, and Darrell Leeson just flying over the top, puts it into the end zone for the first score for the Regina Rams.
First of what should be many points here this afternoon for the Regina Rams. They are on the board. Darrell Leeson on a 1-yard rush. The Rams draw first blood in this Canadian Championship game. They lead it 6-0, awaiting the point after attempt. Chris Orban doing the holding duties. The ball is down and up, and it is through. The Rams have taken the lead 7-0 over the St. Leonard Cougars in this, the 1994 Canadian Junior Championship game. You are listening to Rams Football Live. Kicking the ball off for the Regina Rams, kicks it deep into Cougars territory, and Gary Jean-Louis on the return. Not much room. The Cougars will start 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line.
Well, again, a big 56-yard boot by Matt Kellett and only an 8-yard return that time for the St. Leonard Cougars, bobbling the ball. So that's going to put them back their 21-yard line, so starting in a hole again. And first time that Regina Ram defense was on the field, they held them to 2 plays, forced them to punt the ball to
slot back for the Cougars. The give once again is to Pierre-Antoine. A nice run right up the middle. He will have the first down across the 35 to about the 37-yard line of the St. Leonard Cougars, their best offensive play so far this afternoon.
Well, running a little draw play that time. Quarterback Yadaluka just dropping back into that pocket and then handing off to Pierre-Antoine. He takes it right up the middle as the linebackers had vacated that time looking for the pass. Picks up 13 big yards for the Cougars, and they pick up their initial first down of the afternoon.
The front four for the Regina Rams, Dennis Losi and Michael Milo are the ends. Steve Earn and Chad Zipchen are the tackles. The linebackers, Wavell Starr, Randy Sroczynski, and Lloyd McDonald. You won't find a better linebacking crew anywhere in amateur football. Same goes for the secondary. The corners, Derek Fink and Todd Fuchs. Marco Ricci and Jeff Haggerty are the defensive back, and Danny Pascu is the safety.
We've got some kind of a problem out there right now. One of the officials seems to be limping, and the trainers for the St. Leonard Cougars are coming out onto the field to attend to him. Looks like he might have had his foot stepped on or something like that, so he's going to retire to the sidelines for a few minutes and get some repairs, and hopefully we'll have him back in the game. Certainly want to have a few officials out there anyway.
And we should mention as well that we do have a Regina official taking part in this game today.
Yes, the head referee actually is Bob Raddens from Regina. Quite an honor for him. Obviously graded out very well during the course of the year, and got the honor of being selected as the head referee for today's national championship.
It is 1st and 10 for the St. Leonard Cougars. They will scrimmage the ball from their own 37-yard line. If you're just joining us, the Rams lead it in this Canadian Junior Championship 7-0. 9 minutes and 25 seconds left to go here in the opening quarter. Yadaluka looking over that Rams defense. I formation in behind him. Fakes the handoff, wants to pass, looks deep downfield. It is complete to number 88. That is Vince Pisano, and that will be another first down for the St. Leonard Cougars out to about their own 51-yard line.
Well, a very nice throw by quarterback Yadaluka that time, just dropping back into the pocket, had some good protection up front. Regina Ram front four unable to put any pressure on him, and then whips the ball over here in the near sidelines. Vince Pisano, 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, goes up, makes a great catch. Big 15-yard pickup for the Cougars.
Francois Girard, Vince Giorgio are their tackles. Andre-Yves Lord and Eric Guibault are the guards, and Louis Imbrogno is the center. Yadaluka wants to go deep downfield. Flags are down on the play. He was looking for number 80, Sandor Ikabogo, but there are flags down. We'll see what the call is all about.
Well, that's going to be offensive pass interference for sure. Cornerback Todd Fuchs had some great coverage down the field, and as he went up to make the interception, the receiver for the Cougars just grabbed a hold of him, threw him on the ground, so the officials are talking it over now, but I'm certain that it's going to be offensive pass interference against the Cougars. And
it better be.
Yeah, well, you never know for sure.
8 minutes and 45 seconds left to go here in the opening quarter. The Regina Rams lead the St. Leonard Cougars 7-0. We are just underway in this 1994 Canadian Junior Championship. We should mention as well, folks, that this is a beautiful day. You couldn't get a better day for football, Paul. It's about 9 degrees outside right now. The sun is shining. Couldn't ask for anything more.
Well, I was talking to some of the players and coaching staff and whatnot as we were coming over to the park, and this is the first year that I can remember in the 18 that I've been involved with the club that we haven't been preparing for a national championship in the snow or else playing it in the snow. We haven't had anything out in Regina, and certainly nothing here. As you mentioned, just a great day for football, and we're really looking forward to an exciting contest here.
They are still discussing the penalty calls. And there was a holding call against St. Leonard, and the interference call did go against the Regina Rams. I'm not sure why.
Well, that is amazing to me, but at least they were offsetting, so we're going to get to do that over again. St. Leonard's going to pick up 5 yards on that exchange of penalty, push the ball over center field now, so they're going to sit about the 53-yard line of the Regina Rams, and they've got a first down now and only 5 yards to go.
Marco Yadaluka is the quarterback. Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine and Ralph Obus are in the backfield. They fake the give up the middle, and they look deep downfield for number 74. That is Guy Martin, but it falls incomplete. It will be 2nd and 5 for the Cougars from the Rams' 54-yard line.
Well, quarterback Yadaluka that time actually had an opportunity to run. He seemed to get outside of the contain of the Regina Rams, but spotted Guy Martin down the field a bit, elected to throw the ball to him. He goes high in the air. Dan Paskey was coming over like a missile, and maybe Guy Martin took his eye off the football, couldn't come up with the catch. So now 2nd and 5 for St. Leonard on the Regina Ram 53-yard line.
Let me tell you, you don't want to be a receiver and take your eye off the football when Danny Paskey was bearing down on you. We remember the big hit he put forth in the Canadian Championship last year. On 2nd and 5, Jeff Haggerty comes up to make a nice play to keep the Cougars from getting the first down. It was a complete pass, but only for about 3 yards. It will be a third and about 2 yards to go for the St. Leonard Cougars.
Well, Sandro Jacobobo managed to catch that ball over on the far side, but took a tremendous hit. He was held up by Jeff Haggerty. Middle linebacker Randy Sorchinski, who's played 5 games with the Saskatchewan Roughriders this year, came over and laid a good lick on him. He was a little slow getting up, and St. Leonard now taking no chances, looking at 3rd and about 3, are going to punt that ball to the Regina Rams.
Jeff Haggerty, an outstanding defensive play, and we've seen him all year long from this Moose Jaw boy. He leads the team in defensive points this year, 27 tackles, 8 assists, and 3 batted balls for a total of 72 points. 1 interception in there as well. Sergio Panunzio punting the ball to Chris Frankowski, fields it at his own 10, cuts back, reverses his field. He's across the 30 to the 35. Still going, and is finally forced out of bounds at the 43-yard line of the Regina Rams, where they will begin 1st and 10. A nice return there from Chris Frankowski, a Tom graduate from Regina.
Well, actually a very good return, a 32-yard punt that time for the St. Leonard Cougars, but Chris Frankowski brings her back 28 yards on the return. So some good field position again for the Regina Rams now, starting out at their own 44-yard line.
Darrell Leeson, the #1 rated passer in the PFC. 105 completions for 210 yards and 100. And the give is to Eamon on the counter play on 1st and 10, and he will be very close to a first down as he brings the ball out to midfield.
Well, again, quarterback Darrell Leeson just rolling to his left and getting all that motion flowing one way. Flips the ball back to slot back Chad Eamon coming back in the other direction. Some good blocking over on the right side of that Regina Ram offensive line. Gives him a little seam, scampers forward and gets out to the midfield stripe. The Regina Rams pick up a first down.
6 minutes and 45 seconds left to go here in the opening quarter. The Rams lead the Cougars 7-0. They are 1st and 10 from midfield. Leeson drops straight back in the pocket. Looks to his right, puts it up in the air, looking for Josh Shaw. It is complete inside of the 15-yard line to about the 14. A nice catch, nice pass and run play. Leeson to Shaw.
Well, again, a little bit underthrown that time by Darrell Leeson. A 41-yard pass and really didn't get his full arm into that one, but Josh Shaw did a good job of adjusting to that football well in behind the defender of the St. Leonard Cougars, and he had so much room it didn't really matter. He just slowed down a bit, made the catch. The Regina Rams are down inside the 15-yard line of the St. Leonard Cougars.
Mike Maurer, the lone back in the backfield. Shaw split wide to the right, Beulah on the left. The pass is complete for Chad Eamon down to about the 10-yard line. He is brought down there, and we also have flags down on the play.
Well, it looks like St. Leonard's going to be offside. They were going to try to come with a blitz that time to see if they could get some heat on Darrell Leeson. Did a good job, actually, of taking that snap, starting to roll out, pulled up, found Chad Eamon over on the far side of the field out in the flat, delivered a perfect strike. Much better throw by Darrell Leeson that time. He's racked up quite a bit of yardage here this afternoon, but hasn't looked particularly sharp in doing so, but everything seems to be working and proving effective.
It is offside against the St. Leonard Cougars. That will move the yardstick 5 yards, and it will be 1st and 5 for the Rams from the 10-yard line of the Cougars. Orthner and Maurer are in the backfield. Goodmanson wide to the left. Shaw is on the right. Leeson gives to Maurer, goes off tackle, the right side, fumbles the football, it is loose, and the Cougars have it. They will take over deep in their own zone and about their own 6-yard line. 1st and 10, we have, Paul, our first turnover of the ball game.
Well, the only time we saw the Regina Rams in trouble this year was against the Saskatoon Hilltops, and they fumbled the ball 5 times in that particular game, lost all 5 of those fumbles. Saskatoon Hilltops ended up going on to a 16-12 victory on that particular game, so unfortunate for Mike Maurer, just had the ball pop out of his hands. Looked like somebody got a helmet on it just as he was breaking the line of scrimmage. Looked like he had a lot of room, but a big break for the St. Leonard Cougars as they pick up a fumble and thwart this Regina Ram drive.
5 minutes and 40 seconds left to go here in the opening quarter. The Rams lead the Cougars 7-0, but the Cougars now have the football. 1st and 10 from their own 7-yard line. Some early movement. Idaluca gives the ball to Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine, but they whistle it down, and it will be an illegal procedure against the Cougars. That will march the ball back 5 yards.
Well, credit that to the defense of the Regina Rams this time, as middle linebacker Randy Sorchinski was coming on a blitz, and obviously when the offensive linemen saw him moving up into that position, they're unable to stay in their stance, moved a little bit early. Official blew the play dead right away. That'll push them back another 5 yards. They're going to be starting now from about their own 3-yard line. So St. Leonard backed right up to their goal line here.
1st and 15 with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. The Rams lead it 7-0. Idaluca pitches to Pierre-Antoine, and he is brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Might even be a loss of 1 or 2. Lloyd McDonald in there with a host of Ram tacklers.
Well, again, some big pressure from that Regina Ram defense. Linebackers coming hard across the line of scrimmage. Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine trying to get outside of that rush, but he's unable to get around that corner. Drop him for about another yard loss on the play, so they'll be back to about the 1-yard line. It looks like the ball is going to be spotted down at now. 2nd and about 15.
Beautiful afternoon here in St. Leonard, Quebec. We are at Parc Hébert. Very nice facility. Good crowd on hand today as well, Paul. I imagine the seats fill about 1,000 people in here today, and there's a few extras standing on the sidelines and so on and so forth.
A few outside of the walls didn't want to pay to get in, so they're peeking over the screen.
It is 2nd and about 16 yards to go, and Idaluca takes the ball back into the end zone, goes down on one knee, and gives up the safety.
Well, probably a pretty good play on their part. Obviously, kicking into that wind, the Regina Rams do have a bit of a wind at their back right now, electing to give up the 2 points rather than put the Rams almost in direct scoring position right away. But that will give the ball back to the Rams, as St. Leonard's going to be forced to kick off from their own 35-yard line.
So far, the Rams have been able to move the football. The Cougars have not been able to, but they did come up with a big turnover here as the Rams were pressing for another touchdown. And the score remains 7-0 for the Rams over the St. Leonard Cougars.
Well, we'll check that. It'll be 9-0 because they got 2 points on the safety now.
Pardon me. Excuse me.
You don't want to give them all the points.
Is that a rouge or a safety?
Well, that depends on who you're talking to. Ed would call it a rouge. Most people call it a safety.
The Cougars will now kick off from their own 35-yard line, standing deep in their own zone at about their own 20-yard line are 3 Ram returners, Frankowski, Goodmanson, and Jason Beulah. What a thrill this must be for young Jason Beulah. Spent almost his entire junior career in Edmonton, and this year moved to play with the Regina Rams for a chance at a Canadian championship. And that's exactly where he is right now. Goodmanson fields the ball at his own 20. The wedge forming in front of him brings it up the middle, and he is brought down at about the Rams' 40-yard line where they will scrimmage 1st and 10. We have got to take a break. The Rams lead it 9-0 over St. Leonard. You are listening to Rams football. In St. Leonard, Quebec. On 1st down, the Rams want to throw. Lisa complete to Joshua. He's got some running room down the sidelines and is finally forced out of bounds at about the 31-yard line of the St. Leonard Cougars. The Rams moving the ball quite nicely right now, and they will have it 1st and 10 from St. Leonard's 31-yard line.
Well, a nice little pass from Darrell Leeson to Josh Shaw, just coming from his wideout position over here on the near side of the field. He bends into the middle, picks up the ball, and then gets a great block from Sean Harvey that springs him down the sidelines. Big 24-yard gain for the Regina Rams. They're on the move down to St. Leonard's 32-yard line.
Ortner and Bailey are in the backfield. Dan Goodmanson wide to the left side of the field. On the near side here, we have Josh Shaw. Sean Harvey and Michael Leeson are the slot backs.
Well, we've got a problem with one of the St. Leonard Cougars now. The officials came over and took a look at him, and they're going to send him off the field. I'm not sure if it was an equipment problem or whatever, but Daryl Leeson on the afternoon, 3 for 3 for a total of 98 yards. And we still have 3 minutes and 47 seconds left to play in the game. We're getting a signal now that one of the St. Leonard Cougars did not have his hip pads in, and that's a requirement in amateur football. You have to wear all of the equipment and have it all properly in place.
That was Jean-Rudy Pierre that was taken off the field. The left cornerback, the right cornerback, Vladimir Clairson. Mark Arthur Dattis is the right halfback. Anik Wilford, the left halfback. Sergio Panunzio, who also handles the kicking chores for the St. Leonard Cougars, is the safety. The linebackers, Vincent Bolt, Emmanuel Boilo, Tony Machetta, and Philip Verdi Filion are the linebackers. Ian Donaldson and George Loganov are the ends, and Mike Madigan is the nose tackle.
Well, actually, the Regina Rams have moved the ball very well here this afternoon. We've seen now 3 drives, and they've had some excellent offensive production. St. Leonard, on the other hand, had 1 very good play from Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine, their star running back, and certainly the one that they're counting on to carry the bulk of the load here this afternoon. We've had 6 penalties already called on the St. Leonard Cougars for a total of 55 yards, so that's a little bit uncharacteristic of this team, I believe.
3 minutes and 35 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. The Rams lead it 9-0. 1st and 10 from St. Leonard's 33-yard line. Leeson wants to pass again, looking deep downfield, and that one intended for brother Michael Leeson was over everybody's head.
Well, just getting some pressure that time up front from the St. Leonard Cougars. Got number 42, Vincent Bolte, in there, putting some good heat on Daryl Leeson. Forced him to throw that ball a little early. Didn't look like Mike Leeson quite had time to complete his route. Running on the far side of the field, try to get to the corner of that end zone, but well overthrown, falls for a long incompletion.
2nd down, 10 yards to go for the Rams from the St. Leonard 33-yard line. Leeson, short roll to his left. Again, looking deep downfield for Sean Harvey. Complete, no! Can't hang on to the football. Thought it was in his hands, and it almost looked like he threw it away and didn't want it.
Well, exactly. He was running actually a great pattern, the same pattern that the Regina Rams had just failed to complete the pass on. This time, Sean Harvey gets in behind the St. Leonard Cougars defensive backs, and a good throw from Daryl Leeson. Harvey had it in his hands for a minute, but as he was stumbling, the ball popped out, falls for an incompletion. That'll bring kicker Matt Kellett onto the field now, and he'll be trying what looks like about a 39-yard field goal.
Well, we know this is well within his range. He does have the wind at his back. He has kicked a 57-yarder in the playoffs, a 50-yarder during the regular season. We now have a timeout call by the Regina Rams.
Now we have a timeout call because Corey Borsa wasn't on the field. Supposed to be on there, and then suddenly noticed that he was standing on the sidelines when the field goal team was out there, stepped onto the field and immediately called timeout. So that'll keep the Regina Rams where they are, although they do burn up one of their timeouts that they have for the first half here, and we'll have everyone line up again and let Matt Kellett try that 39-yard field goal.
So far this year, 8 for 16 Matt Kellett was during the regular season. In the playoffs, he has been good on 9 of 16 field goals, and last night a big night for Matt Kellett, one of 2 Regina Rams named to the All-Canadian team. Matt Kellett, of course, the All-Canadian kicker.
Well, and he certainly deserves that honor. He's an outstanding kicker, handling both the punting and place kicking duties for the Regina Rams. And I mentioned many times in our broadcast, we've got a lot of schools down south that are very interested in Matt Kellett and his kicking abilities. He should have a great career in football.
The ball is pinned by Chris Orban. It is up, and it is wide. Bringing you out of the end zone is Panunzio. He's chased to the far sidelines and is chased out of bounds at about the 7-yard line of the St. Leonard Cougars, where they will scrimmage 1st and 10.
Well, St. Leonard's going to have to get something going offensively here this afternoon. Again, they've only had a couple of plays where they've really been able to move against this very tough Regina Ram defense, and they want to keep this game close, trailing 9-0 here now with 2:42 left to play in the first quarter. They're going to have to start to mount some offense and see if they can create some havoc for that Regina Ram defense and try to put some points on the board.
This defense Doesn't have a whole lot to prove, but I think they want to nonetheless after being shut out for the All-Canadian Awards last night. Each one an all-star in their own right. An outstanding defense I would put up against any university team in the country. On first down, Yadaluka gives to Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine. He has a little bit of running room to the left side and give him a gain of about 3 or 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6 for the Cougars from about their own 22-yard line.
Well, again, a good job by middle linebacker Randy Sorchinski that time, just reading the play and then slashing through there. Actually went right through one of the blockers of the St. Leonard Cougars, and he still is down on the ground right now, and the trainers are out attending to him. Just blew right through him, got to Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine, slammed him to the turf after about 1.5 yard pickup.
Paul, this is a huge game for all the Regina Rams, all the Cougars, but in particular 9 Regina Rams we would like to mention today. Jamie Bailey, Corey Borsa, Dougie Clark, Todd Fuchs, Jeff Haggerty, Ian Kidd, Michael Milo, Marco Ricci, and Scott Waters playing in their final game as a Regina Ram today, and what an outstanding career it has been for each and every one of these kids.
Well, and what an outstanding group of individuals, really the heart and soul of this football team, and just some quality individuals. Obviously a very emotional experience when you know you're playing your last football game with the Regina Ram Club. You can't come back next year. Once you're 22, it's all over for you. So I'm sure that those fellows are going to be giving it everything here this afternoon. Some of them are never going to play football again, obviously, so they want to make the most of this here today.
It is 2nd and about 8.5 yards to go for the St. Leonard Cougars from their own 21-yard line. Yadaluka wants to pass, has some time, looking deep downfield. It's picked off by Derek Fink. He has some running room down the sidelines and brings it back to about the 35-yard line. The first turnover of the ball game for the Regina Rams.
Yeah, a big turnover for the Regina Rams as well, and caused both ends of the play. Some good pressure up front. Dennis Losey getting in there. Steve Yearn getting some big push up the middle. Forces Yadaluka to put that ball up. Derek Fink from his cornerback position just dropping back there. The ball sailed a little bit for Yadaluka, and Derek Fink comes up with a big pick. The Rams have it on the St. Leonard Cougars 35-yard line.
1st and 10. Ortner and Bailey. I formation in the backfield. Shaw to the near side of the field. We have Jason Beulah wide out to the left. The pass is complete to brother Michael Leeson. That will be a first down inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line of, well, actually they're marking it at about the 21-yard line of the St. Leonard Cougars. In any case, it is a first down for the Regina Rams.
Well, the Regina Rams running triple receivers to the far side of the field, just sending Michael Leeson down. He hooks up in the middle. Brother Darrell delivers a perfect strike. He tucks the ball away, turns up the field, picks up 14 big yards for the Regina Rams.
Rams on the move once again. They lead it 9-0 with 1 minute and 4 seconds left to go. Flags are down. Some early movement by the Cougars once again. The pass again attempted for brother Michael, incomplete this time. But as I said, there are flags down on the play. The Cougars look like they move early.
Well, again, trying to bring some heat to see if they can create some confusion for quarterback Darrell Leeson in that offensive unit of the Regina Rams, but just a little over anxious that time. Broke into that neutral zone and got flagged for it. Michael Leeson was wide open on the play, actually, but Darrell couldn't get the ball to him, forced to go to the turf to try to come up with the catch, but we'll get another timeout called here by the St. Leonard Cougars, as they obviously want to take a minute and just talk about things and see if they can get things straightened out.
Paul, I've received about 10 notes here to say hi to people back in Regina. First of all, in case I forget everybody, hello to everybody in Regina and in Moose Jaw. A lot of Moose Jaw boys on this team. We miss you, we love you, and wish you were here, and please send money.
Exactly.
We can't get home, we got to send money.
And there's one fellow that we have to say hello to, though, for sure, and that's Jared Livingston. He's been out at practice virtually all year long, and I know he would have loved to have come with the team down here. The boys really like Jared. Spends a lot of time in the dressing room bugging Radar and making him mad and spilling Coke on the floor and whatnot. But he was certainly very sad to see the boys pulling out to head to Montreal. But I know that Jared will be listening to the ball game here this afternoon, and we're all thinking about you, Jared.
And a couple other messages. Hi, Susan. Having a great time. See you later tonight. Love, Fred. Also, I was asked by Corey Borsa to say hi to Hoobs, who of course is Huber. great defensive player for the Regina Rams for several seasons. Treble and Tommy. Corey says hello, and he'll see you tonight at the airport. He wants you to come pick him up.
Well, and the other one that we have to say hello to as well is Luella Urine. Gary misses you, and he can't wait to get home to your cooking.
And he's also frisky, Luella. 1st and 5 for the Regina Rams from about the Cougars' 17-yard line. The give is to Mike Maurer. He goes off tackle to the left side, and he has a nice gain of about 3 or 4. The Rams might be a yard short of the first down here, or do they have it, Paul? Yes, they do.
It looks like he got to that first down marker, actually, that time just running an off-tackle play behind the left side of that Regina Ram offensive line. Some good blocking up front gives Mike Maurer a little seam, turns that corner, turns upfield. He's got the ball down to about the 11-yard line, it looks like, of the St Leonard Cougars. So 1st and 10 for the Rams from there.
Ortner and Maurer in the backfield. Leeson and Eamon are the slot backs. Beulah wide to the left side. Shaw to the near side of the field. Again, the pitch is to Maurer. Has some running room. He is in for the touchdown. Mike Maurer.
Well, a very good run by Mike Maurer that time, making up for that fumble down near the St. Leonard Cougars goal line the last time the Regina Rams were down there. He gets that handoff right at the 11-yard line, turns upfield after a nice little fake, and then just launches himself from about the 3-yard line into the end zone. A big touchdown for the Regina Rams.
That time he was carrying the football like a sack of money. There's no way he was going to lose that baby that time. Mike Maurer, 5'11" in his first year with the Regina Rams, a 19-year-old out of Johnson Collegiate in Regina, and missed a year of football last year, but has certainly made a huge contribution to this football team in the absence of first-string running back Mark Bernard.
Well, Mark Bernard suffering, unfortunately, that ligament injury early in the season, and Mike Maurer pressed into duty. He's really picked up the slack and playing very well. He was not going to be denied on that particular play. Once he saw that goal line, there was no way that anyone was going to keep him out of there. And as I mentioned, about the 3-yard line in, he just launched himself and went flying into their end zone.
Speaking of Mark Bernard, the man that Mike Maurer is replacing, and when Mark Bernard went down with that season-ending knee injury, Mark will join us at halftime for a little chat. Made the trip out here and is having a lot of fun.
Well, made the trip out here and paid his own way to come on the plane and everything else. The Regina Rams can only bring 40 players, obviously, to a national contest like this. Mark wanted to be with his teammates and forked over the $500 and some odd to fly down here and be with the boys. So, again, just another example of some of the tremendous commitment that these kids have.
The Rams lead it 16-0 with 29 seconds left to go here in the opening quarter. In this, the 1994 Canadian Junior Championship. The Rams are set to kick off. The Cougars taking their time getting out there with the kick return team.
I'm not sure exactly what they were doing. They were over on the sidelines having a little huddle with their coach, but Bob Radden's the head official was waving them onto the field, telling them to hurry up. So obviously he wants to keep this game moving along.
The scoreboard said 91-0, but it's not that far yet.
Yet.
On the return, the Cougars deep in their own zone, try and bring it up the middle. And we do have some late flags down on the play. The Cougars return the ball to about their own 25-yard line. On the return, didn't catch that number, was it number 71 for the Cougars, Brenson Barthelus.
Well, Brenson Barthelus actually doing a good job of catching that and running up, but as soon as he saw the Regina Rams bearing down on him, he kind of stopped and waited for the hit, and that's not usually a good thing to do, though the Regina Rams take an unnecessary roughness penalty, and that's going to move it out to the, looks like about the 39-yard line. So St. Leonard, with some of their best field position here this afternoon, are going to go from there, 1st and 10.
They trail this game 16-0. So far, they've got 14 seconds with which to work here in the first quarter. Their quarterback is Marco Yaidaluca. Gives the ball to Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine up the middle, and he is brought down in a big hurry by Wavell Starr right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, the linebackers of the Regina Rams are just having a field day here right now. Randy Sorchinski and Wavell Starr in that big play knock him down after about a 1-yard gain.
And that will do it for the first quarter. The score, the Regina Rams 16, the St. Leonard Cougars nothing. And you are listening to Regina Rams football. Ron Rimmer, Paul Barnby, and Ed Bankowski back at Parc Hébert in St Leonard, Quebec, where the Regina Rams lead the St Leonard Cougars 16-0 in the Canadian Junior Football Championship. A lot has happened since we last talked to you. We'll update you in just a moment. For now, it's second and about 5 yards to go for the Regina Rams. Leeson wants to run with the football, gets to the outside, still going down the sidelines, and is finally forced out of bounds at about the 30-yard line of the St Leonard Cougars. It will be another first down for the Regina Rams.
Well, we've seen Darrell Leeson do that a lot this year, and that's get outside of the contain of the St. Leonard Cougars. When he gets around that corner, just uses his great speed to turn upfield. He pushes that ball down to the 29-yard line of the St. Leonard Cougars, so a big 19-yard pickup for Darrell Leeson.
We should mention as well, Paul, the Cougars did have the football when we last talked to you, and Lloyd McDonald came up with a big interception to get the Rams the ball back. The second interception of the ball game for the Regina Rams. Derek Fink had one earlier. In any case, the Rams are now on the move, and the pass is complete to Chad Eamon. He's sniffing out the end zone. Touchdown, Chad Eamon.
Well, just a great throw by Darrell Leeson that time after the big 19-yard pickup. Calmly drops back into the pocket, spots slot back Chad Eamon over the middle, hits him with a perfect strike, and again, Chad Eamon does a great job of just getting into the end zone, slashing between two of the St. Leonard Cougars right at the end of that play, puts her in for the big touchdown.
13 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in this ball game, actually, the first half. Getting a little ahead of ourselves here. Chad Eamon, an outstanding run after he caught the football. The 5'10", 180-pound slot back, also the second-string quarterback out of O'Neill High School in Regina. Another outstanding offensive play for the Regina Rams.
Well, Chad Eamon's going to be a great player for the Regina Rams. He is a very good player already, but as he gets a little bit older and gets a little more experience, great athlete, possesses some very good hands, is also the backup quarterback for the Regina Rams, and would go in the event that Darrell Leeson were to go down, but he's a tremendous football player and only going to get better with experience.
Point after attempt coming up by Matt Kellett. It is good, and it's in the parking lot.
Well, with those 10-yard end zones, exactly, Matt Kellett booms it through and bounces it off one of the car windshields out in the parking lot.
It is now the Regina Rams 23, the St. Leonard Cougars no score in this, the 1994 Canadian Junior Football Championship.
Well, it didn't take the Regina Rams long to capitalize on that turnover by Lloyd McDonald either. Darrell Leeson just taking that ball around the end for a big 19-yard pickup and then hitting Chad Eamon with that scoring strike of 29 yards, puts the Regina Rams out in front 23-0 here with 13:27 to go in the first quarter. And look at Darrell Leeson's stats here in the first quarter. 5 of 7 for 141 yards already. Wow. Just doing an outstanding job. He's carried the ball 3 times for 25 yards.
Big run, a big play on that drive. Also set up by a big turnover by Lloyd McDonald. His 4th interception of the season. Lloyd McDonald, another one of the many Moose Jaw boys making a big contribution to this Regina Rams team. On the kickoff, it is Matt Kellett. Kicks it to about the 40-yard line of the St. Leonard Cougars. On the return, number 42, Vincent Bolt.
Well, again, after that penalty, the Regina Rams took an objectionable conduct penalty after that touchdown. It might have been Chad Eamon spiking the ball down in the end zone, but pretty good kickoff by Matt Kellett. But the St. Leonard Cougars now with some pretty good field position here out at their own 53-yard line. And they now have, whatever wind is blowing here, they have it at their back here for the second quarter.
Well, we'll see what they can do with that. Marco Iadaluca completed 69 of 152 passes for 1,097 yards and 9 touchdowns during the regular season. They give the ball up the middle to Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine. He gets a gain of a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd and 8 to go for the St. Leonard Cougars inside of Rams territory at about the 54-yard line.
Well, just trying to run an inside trap play that time on the Regina Ram defense. Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine carried the ball now 7 times for a total of only 17 yards. And quite fortunate on that particular play because as he was hit, the ball popped free. I don't think the official was able to spot that, though, and ruled that he was down on the play. And now we're having another little conference down here with head referee Bob Radens talking to the St. Leonard Cougars captains down there to see if we can sort that out.
Also talking to the Rams captains. Must have been a penalty against the Rams, but the ball was moved back. In any case, it will be a first down for the St. Leonard Cougars from their own now 53-yard line.
Well, we're as confused as the Ram coaching staff is, as they're trying to get an explanation from one of the officials, but in any event, there was no damage. It looks like there was no play.
It didn't exist. It didn't happen. 11 minutes, 52 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Gianluca wants to pass, looking for Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine. It is incomplete, though. It will be 2nd and 10. Cougars from their own 53-yard line.
Well, some big heat that time by rush end Mike Milo, coming from his far side position over there, just bearing down on quarterback Gianluca. Forced to put that ball up a little early, and actually Marco Risi at the other end of the play was bearing down, getting ready to throw the big hit, and actually if he would have had his head up, he might have come up with an interception and turned the ball over for the Rams.
Michael Milo having an outstanding year for the Regina Rams, 6'2", 219 pounds in his 4th year out of Ituna High School in Ituna, Saskatchewan. The pride of Ituna.
Yeah, playing a little 6-man or 9-man football out there. Big jump up to the Rams, but he certainly made it and been a great player.
The give is to Jean-Louis Gary up the middle. He's still running hard, and he will be very close to a first down for the Cougars inside of Rams territory at about the 47-yard line.
Well, and Dennis Losey's just shaking his head out there right now as he had that running back all wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage, but Jean-Louis Gary just managed to spin away from him. Picks up enough for the first down, so St. Leonard now moving into Ram territory down to the 48-yard line of the Regina Rams. They'll start from there now, 1st and 10.
Substitutions the Cougars are making right now. The Rams standing there as if to say, come on, let's go.
Todd Fuchs doing a little house cleaning down there, picked up one of the towels and gave it to the officials, so filling all kinds of jobs here today.
10 minutes, 30 seconds left to go. It's up the middle. Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine. He'll have a gain of about another 5 yards.
Well, we've got a few players hurt here for the St. Leonard Cougars, but they managed to scramble back to their feet. Pick up about 4 yards on that play now inside of the Regina Ram 45-yard line. They're sitting about the 44, looking at 2nd and 6. They haven't had much success throwing the ball here this afternoon, unfortunately, for the St. Leonard Cougars. Only completing 2 of 7 passes for 12 yards and throwing a couple of interceptions already as well.
Just less than 10 minutes to go here in the opening half for this Canadian Junior Championship. The Rams lead the St. Leonard Cougars 23-0. On 2nd and 6. The give is up the middle, but there is nothing doing. Dennis Losey, Wavell Star, and Michael Milo all there to bring down Jean-Louis Gary in the backfield.
Well, that time Dennis Losey made no mistake about it. He got a hold of him and grabbed on nice and tight that time. The rest of his buddies arrived and drove him back about another 5 yards, but that's going to put the ball down right at the 45-yard line of the Regina Rams now, and St. Leonard will be forced to punt.
Not having a whole lot of success moving the football today, Paul, against this vaunted, not respected enough Rams defense.
Well, that's exactly right. You've got Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine with 7 carries for 19 yards. Jean-Louis Gary with 1 carry for 10 yards and just got thrown down there for no gain at all and only 2 pass completions. So they've absolutely got to get something moving here on offense.
They faked the field goal, go for a punt. They were in field goal formation. Jason Beulah fields it at his own 5-yard line, looking for some running room, makes a nice move, but then is brought down just at about the 10-yard line. Make it the 9. The Rams will scrimmage 1st and 10 from there. You are listening to Rams football. Paul Barnby and Ed Bankowski back at Parc Hébert in St Leonard, Quebec, where the Regina Rams lead the St Leonard Cougars 23-0 in this Canadian Junior Football Final. We'll tell you about a big play that happened while we were away. In any case, 1st and 10 for the Rams. The give is to Chad Eamon on the counter play, and he'll have a nice gain of about 7 yards. But while we were away, Paul, an outstanding pass and run play, Daryl Leeson to Dan Goodmanson.
Well, Dan Goodmanson playing that wide receiver position over here on the near sidelines, right in front of the Regina Ram bench, just streaking down the field. Daryl Leeson hits him with a big bomb of 44 yards. That took the Regina Rams from deep in their end right out to midfield. A little play to Chad Eamon that was just run, picked up another 8. So there they are sitting on the St. Leonard Cougars 48-yard line, looking at 2nd and 2.
Goodmanson, 5'10", 155 pounds, out of Riffle High School. Outstanding play for him. He was awfully darn close to taking that one all the way. 2nd and short, the give is to Jamie Bailey. He fights hard up the middle. Depends on where the spot of the ball is, but Jamie will be very close to a first down.
We're very surprised, actually, at the good job that St. Leonard has done against Triple Diesel here this afternoon. They've really been a very, very important part of that Regina Ram offense. We saw against Surrey, just ran for some huge gains. But St. Leonard doing a good job, obviously having watched a lot of film on the Regina Rams and seem to have figured out a way to defense that. Regina Rams are going to be very close to the first down here, looking at about maybe a half yard to go, 3rd and about half yard, and no doubt in my mind they'll be going for it.
Jamie Bailey, big fullback, 6'1", 240 pounds in his 2nd year at a Central Collegiate in Moose Jaw. And Paul, what a game he had a couple of weekends ago against the Surrey Rams. 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 1 receiving. That boy is a big load.
Oh, he is. He's a tremendous load. And one of the things that's so amazing about Jamie Bailey is the fact that he's so agile and so quick for a person that's that big. And he's really just a great athlete. Played a lot of junior hockey and came to the Regina Rams last year. Unfortunately, only had him for 2 years. Would have been great to have seen him in a Ram uniform for the full 5. And what he might have developed into a football player is really quite scary.
Jamie Bailey, one of the 9 young fellas playing their final game of junior football today. It'll be 3rd and about half a yard to go for the Regina Rams. And they are certainly going to go for it here.
Well, there's no question they'll be going for it now with a 23-0 lead, 6 minutes and 54 seconds to play here in the first half. Sitting on the St. Leonard Cougar 47-yard line. They'd like to add to that lead if possible.
3rd and short from the St. Leonard 47-yard line. Leeson keeps it himself, goes over the guard, and will have the first down to the 45-yard line.
Well, just a straight ahead push that time, lining up in Triple Diesel, but Daryl Leeson, as he did on that touchdown, he scored the first one of the ball game, just taking it in behind that big offensive line and surging forward down to the 45-yard line. Rams pick up another first down.
6 minutes, 45 seconds left to go in the 2nd quarter. This is the Canadian Junior Championship from Parc Hébert in St. Leonard, Quebec. The Rams lead it 23-0. On first down, Leeson on the draw play. Actually, I thought he was on the draw play, but he faked us out too, gave the ball to Ortner.
Well, what he did actually is the old hidden ball play where the center just snaps the ball and holds it in that snap position. Daryl Leeson takes off and leaves it on the center's rear end. Todd Ortner runs up and grabs it from in behind the center, but unfortunately for him, as the field opened up, he fell down. He had all kinds of room to run and slipped down just as he took that ball from center Darren Bird. So the Regina Rams trying a little trick play here, but it didn't work that well.
Beautifully executed by Daryl Leeson. On 2nd and 10, Leeson has some time. Wants to throw, complete to Brother Michael, has some open field, looking for the end zone, but no, he is forced out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. Nice play by the Leeson brothers.
Well, a great play by the Leeson brothers at both ends of that. Daryl Leeson with some great time to throw from the pocket, but stood there, couldn't find anybody open right away, and then the pressure started to get to him, started to roll to his left, looked downfield, hit Brother Mike for a big 37-yard gain as he scampers down to the St. Leonard Cougars 8-yard line.
Rams sniffing at the door once again. They lead it 23-0 with 5 minutes, 35 seconds left to go here in the 2nd quarter. 1st and 10 Rams. From the St. Leonard 8-yard line, the give is to Todd Ortner. Nothing doing. Fumbles the football, and a good job by Sean Harvey to come up with that fumble deep in St. Leonard territory.
Well, where was Corey Morse on that? He's the designated fumble recoverer. He's supposed to be there picking those things up, but Todd Ortner did a good job of avoiding that first wave of tacklers from the St. Leonard Cougars, but unfortunately for him, somebody grabbed him by the arm, the ball popped free, and Sean Harvey zipped over and picked it up to keep this drive alive here. Now we check Darrell Leeson's stats. 7 of 9 for 222 yards passing, and we've got 4 minutes and 54 seconds to play here in the first half.
Well, somebody said Darrell Leeson would approach 500 yards passing today, and he's not too far off from getting halfway there right now. Leeson wants to run to the football, looks for the end zone. Touchdown, Darrell Leeson from 7 yards out. Another great run by the outstanding quarterback for the Regina Rams.
Yeah, just a great job by Darrell Leeson that time, just getting around that corner. Looked like he was going to throw it again, trying to find his brother downfield, but elected to tuck it under, use that great speed and strength that he possesses, gets around the corner, and puts it into the end zone for the Regina Rams.
Parky Bear in St. Leonard, Quebec. The Cougars have it 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Nothing doing as they try and take it up the middle. The Rams defense playing hard here this afternoon. Randy Sroczynski, Lloyd McDonald in there, as well as Michael Milo on the tackle.
Well, they've got everybody over there right now, and St. Leonard not showing much diversity here on offense. Obviously, they've had some real difficulty getting their running game going. Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine, their big running back, has carried the ball 8 times for a total of 20 yards only, so they've got to look at something else, trying to go off tackle. Some of the best success they've had has been straight at the Regina Rams on their little draw plays.
3 minutes, 15 seconds left to go here in quarter number 2. The Rams lead it 30-0. They give after a little razzle-dazzle in the backfield, but Marco Ricci comes up to make a nice defensive tackle. The ball carrier there was number 21, Chris Jones.
Well, Chris Jones just taking that handoff from quarterback Mark Gadaluca, trying to get around that far side of the Regina Ram defense, but Marco Ricci does a good job of staying home out there and just running down the line of scrimmage with Chris Jones, gets a hold of him, drops him for about a 2-yard loss. So St. Leonard is going to be forced to punt the ball back to the Regina Rams again. Their returners are waiting about their own 40-yard line.
Sergio Panunzio in now to punt from about his own 20-yard line. Chris Frankowski and Jason Beulah now standing at about their own 40-yard line. We have some early movement and flags down. The Ram defenders kind of pointing right now at the offensive line of St. Leonard.
Yeah, looked like illegal procedure that time. One of the offensive linemen just came out of his stance as Lloyd McDonald was moving up, looking like he was going to be coming on a real pressure play on that punt, but he wisely elected to go across the line of scrimmage and bump into one of the St. Leonard Cougars after he noticed that they had moved.
They seemed to call offside against the Rams and illegal procedure against the St. Leonard Cougars. How does that work?
We're not quite sure. We don't know how that works, but it looks like St. Leonard is going to get some yardage, and then Bob Braddens calmly tells the other official to bring it back. It's got to stay at the line of scrimmage. We've got offsetting penalties, so we had one official saw it as an offside, one saw it as illegal procedure.
Oh, okay. That's, we're not sure what to do, so let's call them both.
Looks like it didn't happen again.
In any case, Panunzio almost has that punt blocked. And it is Jason Beulah from his own 40-yard line. Nowhere to go. Some great special teams work there by the St. Leonard Cougars as they brought down Jason Beulah as soon as he caught that football.
Well, actually, that's right. They got some good penetration downfield and got right on top of Jason Beulah, let the ball bounce in front of him, and then immediately grabbed a hold of him and threw him down. But we do have a flag over on that far side of the field. Looks like it's going to be an illegal block against the Regina Rams. That's the call right now from head referee Bob Radden. So that will back the Regina Rams up a bit now, move them down to their own 30-yard line. Looks like they're going to put the final spot about the 32-yard line.
2 minutes, 36 seconds left to go here in the opening half. It's been all Rams so far. They lead it 30-0. They have it 1st and 10 from their own 30. Jamie Bailey and Mike Maurer in the backfield. The pass to the far sidelines attempted for Josh Shaw. It is incomplete, and there are flags down all over the football field.
Well, there's flags down all over the place because we've got illegal substitution called on the St. Leonard Cougars. Didn't have the right personnel on the field that time, and as a result, we're trying to get somebody madly onto the field to provide the coverage, but officials weren't going to stand for that. They make the call, and that'll give the Regina Rams some of that yardage that they gave up on that illegal block back, and they are going to start now just outside of their own 40-yard line.
It has been, Paul, a great ride for the Regina Rams so far this season. 7-1 in the regular season, 4-0 in the playoffs, outscoring their opposition 199-20 so far in the 4 playoff games. On 1st and 10, Leeson fakes to give up the middle. The pass is complete to Mike Maurer on the sidelines. He'll have a gain of about 7 yards.
Well, Mike Maurer makes a great catch over there, just coming from his tailback position and leaking out into that flat. Darrell Leeson rolling to his right as well and hits Mike Maurer with a nice pass, and he does a good job of keeping his feet in bounds that time. Darrell Leeson just looking downfield as he rolls to see if he can check the deep man. Sees that he's not there, dumps the ball off to Mike Maurer, keeps his feet down, jumps out of bounds, and he's got about a 6-yard pickup on the play.
2 minutes, 28 seconds left to go here in the opening half. There was some early movement, no flags down on the play. Maurer is brought down in the backfield on a nice defensive play by the Cougars. That was number 73 in there very quickly, Ian Donaldson. But it did look to me, Paul, as if there was some early movement on the defensive line.
Well, no question about it. It looked like it was number 73, Ian Donaldson, that was across the line of scrimmage, and that's why he was able to get into the backfield that quickly and grab a hold of Mike Maurer and threw him down for about a 3 or 4 yard loss on the play. And you called it, Ron. No flags on the play. They're going to let it stand, so that'll put the Regina Rams in a punting situation now. I believe this is their first one of the game here today.
Matt Kellett will punt from his own 25-yard line. One man is back for the St. Leonard Cougars. That is number 71, Brenson Barthelus. Kellett gets away a nice high punt. It takes a bad bounce as it heads back towards midfield. Number 28 picking up the ball there, Jean-Rudy Pierre, and he is brought down inside of Cougars territory at about the 47-yard line. Actually, there was 2 spots there by the referees, and they were about 7 yards apart.
Well, obviously going to get together here and get it down at the right spot, but that bounced back a bit for Matt Kellett. He got away a fairly good kick that time, but as the ball came down on the turf, it landed on its nose and bounced back towards the Regina Ram coverage team that was coming down. Chris Frankowski trying to get out of the way, and St. Leonard Cougars pick it up. There's no penalties on the play. They'll start from their own 53-yard line.
Marco Yaidaluca is the quarterback. Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine and Jean-Louis Gary are in the backfield. It is Pierre-Antoine on the carry. He goes right up the middle and will have a gain of about 4 or 5 yards.
Well, this is where the St. Leonard Cougars, if they've had any success, it's been in the middle here, picking up about 4 or 5 yards a carry. This time, Jacqueline Pierre-Antoine going straight at that Regina Ram defense, picks up about 5 yards. They move across that midfield stripe. Dennis Losey with the big tackle coming from his defensive end position to drag him down. They're looking at 2nd and 5 from the Regina Ram 53-yard line.
A minute, 35 seconds left to go here in the opening half. The Rams lead it 30-0 over the St. Leonard Cougars. 2nd and 5. Yadaluka has all day to pass, looking across the middle. Attempted for number 88, Vince Pisano, but flags are down and they are calling interference, I do believe, on Danny Pascu. I don't know about that one.
Well, it looked like Dan Pascu just came around him to try to knock that ball down. Pisano was high in the air over the middle of that Regina Ram defense, and the official was in behind and probably didn't have as good a look at it because he was in behind, but just trying to go right at the heart of that Regina Ram defense. Kijana with the throw down there. Dan Pascu comes up, falls for an incompletion, interference call.
It is 30-0 for the Rams over the Cougars. You are listening to Rams Football. On 1st and 10 from the Rams' 38-yard line. Yadaluka attempting a pass over the middle. It fell incomplete. They will be 2nd and 10 from there.
Well, just trying to get that ball again down over the middle where they have had some success against the Regina Rams, what limited success it has been this afternoon. But that time, some big pressure from the front four. Forced them to throw that ball a little bit early. This is the area of the field the Regina Rams like to blitz in. We'll see if they send the middle line back to Randy Sorchinski.
High formation in behind the quarterback, Yadaluka. He wants to pass. Looking across the middle, has a man open. It is complete to Bartholis Brenson, and he should have another Cougars first down to about the Rams' 25-yard line.
Well, obviously have found something in the Regina Rams secondary that they like right now. That time again, going back into the middle of that Regina Rams secondary. Rams sending middle linebacker Randy Sorchinski, but the Cougars do a good job of picking that up and giving Lucas some time to throw the ball. He comes up with the big pass completion. The number 71, Brenson Bartholis, they have the ball down to the Regina Ram 20-yard line.
58 seconds left to go here in the opening half. The Cougars pressing for their first points of the ball game, looking to the end zone. It is, no, they say incomplete. The pass looked to be caught by Sandro Iacobo, but they say no good.
Well, Iacobo is just incensed right now. Actually, the official was in a very good spot that time. Iacobo went down to the turf to see if he could come up with that catch, and a good throw by quarterback Mark Yadaluka. The ball wobbling a bit that time, but he goes down to the ground, and it might have bounced off the turf. Very tough for us to tell, but the official was right on the spot. He comes up with the call, no completion. They're looking at 2nd and 10 now from the Ram 20-yard line.
Well, possibly a bit of bad luck. The St. Leonard Cougars right there. And they'll try it again here on 2nd and 10 from the 20. Yadaluka complete to number 71 there, but Jeff Haggerty comes up and drills him right where he caught the football. An outstanding defensive play by Jeff Haggerty on the receiving end, Brenson Bartholis.
Well, Brenson Bartholis trying to leak out into that flat area, but defensive halfback Jeff Haggerty reading that play very well, picks him up, the ball arrives, and Jeff Haggerty arrives with a big hit on Brenson Bartholis, drops him right at the 20-yard line for no gain. Regina Rams will take a timeout here now and let the St. Leonard Cougars think about what they want to do here, trailing this ball game 30-0 with 45 seconds left to play in the first half.
It has been all Regina Rams so far, folks. The Cougars looking to put their first points of the ball game up on the board right now. Possibly a couple of plays earlier. A little bit of bad luck. Looked like it might have been a touchdown to Sandro Iacobo.
If that would have been a catch, it would have been a great one because the ball was out in front of him. He dove right at the goal line, tried to come up with it. Very difficult for us to see from our vantage point here in the press box whether it was a completion or not, but the official was right on the spot beside him, and he waved it off immediately, so he must have seen that ball hit the turf and bounce up into his arms.
St. Leonard Cougars very happy to be in this football game. The first ever for this organization, and first time a Quebec team has been in the national championship since 1982. That year, the Montreal Junior Concords, who were no longer in existence, were throttled 46-0 by the Renfrew BC Trojans. The last time Quebec team won this whole thing was 1965, and it was done by the Montreal NDG Maple Leafs. 3rd and 10, and they are gambling. The pass is complete to number 23 for the Cougars. That is Gary Jean-Louis, but coming up to make an outstanding defensive play, Marco Ricci.
Well, we see two very good plays by the defensive halfbacks of the Regina Rams. First, Jeff Haggerty on that second down play with the big hit. And then this time, Marco Ricci on the 3rd down gamble by the St Leonard Cougars, trying to leak the receiver again into the flat. But on the other side, defensive half, Marco Ricci comes up with a big play. That's a turnover for the Regina Rams and puts their offense back on the field here, down at their own, looks like about 14-yard line with 40 seconds to play in the first half.
They'll get one more crack here to put some points up on the board. Leeson wants to pass from deep in his own zone. Tries to get away the screen pass. Flags go down as there was not a receiver in the vicinity.
Well, there was a couple of the linemen were out there. Darrell Leeson obviously grabbed a hold of by the defensive lineman of the St. Leonard Cougars and tried to dump it off. Unfortunately, he didn't have one of his running backs there. Had a couple of the offensive linemen and they wisely let the ball fall to the turf, but I think they're going to call him for illegal grounding and spot it where he was throwing down back at about the 3-yard line. So Regina Rams looking at 2nd down and a lot of real estate. They've got to get out to the 24-yard line for a first down. So 2nd and about 21.
They've only got 35 seconds with which to work, but they will be heading to the dressing room at halftime with a comfortable lead. Nonetheless, they lead the Cougars 30-0 in this, the 1994 Canadian Junior Football Championship. Now from their own 1-yard line, Leeson wants to run, goes up the middle. He'll get back about 5 or 6 yards of the yards he lost, but it will be 3rd and long for the Regina Rams.
Well, 3rd and long for sure. Again, still have to get out to the 24-yard line for that first down. When Matt Kellett punts this ball, he might be lucky to get it over that first down marker, actually, as he will be punting from his own end zone. 31 seconds here. The Regina Rams would definitely like to get out of this first half with their shutout intact. Probably not supposed to talk about that, but we might as well put a little pressure on him anyway.
Coming up at halftime, Paul will have some statistics for you, compiled by the one, the only Ed Bankowski. Also, we will chat with injured running back Mark Bernard. And I'm not going to call him Ray today. Matt Kellett punting from his own end zone. It is high, not too deep. Bounces at about the Rams' own 35-yard line. Cougars letting it bounce around. Bartholus Benson runs backwards, which was not a good idea because he is brought down at about the 50-yard line, and that will do it for the first half. My friends, it is the Regina Rams 30, the St. Leonard Cougars no score in this, the Canadian Junior Football Championship of 1994. Away from the opening kickoff for the second half of football, and Paul, it has been all Regina Rams thus far. They lead it 30-0.
Well, it's been all Regina Rams, and you mentioned it earlier on in the broadcast, just a slow, methodical dismantling of the St. Leonard Cougars. Really, in some respects, I think maybe even a bit anticlimactic for the Regina Rams. They worked so hard, and they you know, in the off-season and the weight training programs and whatnot, and then you get to the national final. It should be the real premier event, and here they are at halftime up 30-0 already. They've really made a statement about junior football this year, having the opportunity to play the Manitoba Conference and beating them 73-7, and then on and play the BC champions 64-3, and now out in front of Quebec, who did defeat Ontario this year, and out in front of them 30-0. that's a real statement about where the Regina Ram program is in relationship to some of the other programs in the country.
No question about it. I mean, these kids are great athletes. We don't even have to tell you that, folks, but they are also perfect gentlemen. They are also the epitome of sportsmanship. It seems at times, and throughout the year, throughout the last couple of years, when they have got up on teams, it's almost like they didn't want to embarrass the opposition and laid back. We have certainly seen some of that so-called killer instinct here in the playoffs, outscoring the opposition in 4 playoff games, 199-20. So this team playing some great football right now, and certainly they don't want to embarrass the opposition, but they want to do their best right now.
Well, there's no question that they do, and they really seem to hit their peak at exactly the right time this year. When the playoffs arrived, they got off the mark fast in a couple of playoff games, and that really sort of made the difference and led to some of those big scores against the opposition. But again, I think a real tribute to the entire Ram program and what they're able to accomplish.
Okay, we have another hello to say, this time to Melville from Rhonda Leeson, the wife of Daryl Leeson. Wants to say hello to her family in Melville, so hi to everybody in Melville.
Well, and we also want to say hello to Ursula Petrie. We're up here with Ray Petrie in the press box, sitting right beside us. We have one of these little excuse me press boxes, so we're kind of all huddled together here in a corner. They're doing the spotting, we're doing the broadcasting, and want to say hello to the Petrie family back in Regina.
And we should mention that Rick Seaman is also up here with us, and we want to thank these guys for putting up with us and screaming in their ears all game long.
Well, he'll be telling us to say hello to the Jap attack shortly, so we better get that done too.
And while we're mentioning the coaching staff of the Regina Rams, we should mention all of the head coaches and assistant coaches for the Rams organization. Of course, the head coach, Frank McChrystal, offensive coordinator, Bernie Schmidt, and of course, Ray Petrie helps out with the offense as well. Jory Orban is the offensive line coach, defensive coordinator, Alex Smith. Ronnie Singer handles the D-line and linebackers, and of course, Rick Seaman with the defensive secondary. And what a coaching staff the Regina Rams do have. We are underway in the second half. Jamie Bailey on the return, and he fights hard up the middle and is brought down after a nice run at about the Rams' 41-yard line, where they will scrimmage 1st and 10.
Well, Jamie Bailey got a little bit of a head of steam up that time, taking that short kickoff from the St Leonard Cougars, and one of the Cougars come running down the field with a big head of steam up as well, and tremendous collision. It took him a few seconds to shake the cobwebs out and get back to his feet, but welcome from a young man from Moose Jaw, Jamie Bailey, dishing out some heavy-duty punishment.
Neglected to mention Gary Urin as well, who does an outstanding job in his general manager's duties. Mike Maurer takes the football on 1st and 10, and he'll have the first down and then some as he brings the ball across midfield and is finally forced out of bounds at about the 52-yard line of the St. Leonard Cougars. So the Regina Rams starting off this second half exactly the same way as they did in the first half.
Well, and if there would be an area of the game that they do want to improve on, the Regina Rams, that would be running the ball. Certainly had the ball up in the air a lot in that first half, but in the first half didn't really rush with the same kind of ability that they've shown, but doing a good job to start the second half.
On 1st and 10, Daryl Leeson wants to run this time, still going, and he is forced out of bounds deep inside of St. Leonard territory at about the 25-yard line. An outstanding run for Daryl Leeson.
Well, again, the Regina Rams starting out with some more enthusiasm really here, I think, this in the second half. Obviously, the players spent a lot of time in the dressing room by themselves. I saw Coach McChrystal was out on the sidelines after about 1 minute had gone by that halftime, and Daryl Leeson doing a good job of getting around that corner and turning upfield. He pushes the ball down after that big 26-yard gain to about the 25-yard line.
On 1st and 10, the give is to Jamie Bailey. He's going off tackle, running hard. Flags are down on the play. He'll have a gain of close to 5 yards. We'll see what the flags are about, Paul.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. It looks like it's going to be an offside or a holding call, pardon me, against the Regina Rams. So obviously the official caught one of the big offensive linemen in there, holding on to somebody, trying to get Jamie Bailey around that far corner, but they're going to get it ticketed with a 10-yard penalty here, and that'll push the ball back now to the 35-yard line of the St. Leonard Cougars. So again, a good start for the Regina Rams here to open this second half.
As mentioned, Jamie Bailey, one of several Moose Jaw lads on this Regina Rams team. Bailey, 6'1", 240 pounds, out of Central Collegiate in Moose Jaw. 13 minutes, 45 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Leeson over the middle to brother Michael. He gets to the outside, to the 10, the 5, and he is brought down right there by the Cougars, but that will be another Regina Rams first down.
Well, a great play by quarterback Darrell Leeson that time, recognizing the blitz coming from the St. Leonard Cougars. Michael Leeson reading it as well, just hooking up into that middle as soon as they sent that other halfback. Mike Leeson wide open on the play, a big 30-yard gain, brother-to-brother combination, working very well here this afternoon. Mike Leeson now with 4 catches on the day for 114 yards.
Outstanding. The Leeson brothers have gotten together on several passing combinations throughout this season. Leeson caught 27 balls for 539 yards and 2 touchdowns during the regular season. Goes down deep to make a nice catch there, did Michael Leeson, but they say it was incomplete. It will be 2nd and goal for the Regina Rams from the Cougars' 6-yard line.
Well, Mike Leeson that time again just hooking into the middle. Darrell Leeson tried to get the ball to him, but delivered a little low, and big 6'3" Mike Leeson having to go down to his shoe tops to make that catch, was unable to come up with it. Official said he trapped it as it bounced off the turf, so the Regina Rams 2nd and goal from St. Leonard's 6-yard line.
Again, we should tell you these end zones only 13 yards. That makes a bit of a difference. The give is to Jamie Bailey up the middle, though, and he'll have a gain of about 3 yards. It will be 3rd and goal to go for the Regina Rams. Decision time.
Well, this will be a decision for head coach Frank McChrystal. Looks like they're going to send out a little more beef out there right now. Looks like they're going to be gambling from St. Leonard's 3-yard line. They respond in kind and bring on some of their bigger boys as well to beef up the middle of that defense that they have. They've done a pretty good job, actually, of working on that triple diesel this afternoon and slowing that down. Probably one of the more effective defensive jobs we've seen against that particular formation of the Regina Rams this year.
Speaking of the beef brought in, a couple of the guys, Tim Kusel and Brent Nicholas. The pitch is to Mike Maurer. He's got all kinds of daylight, and he slides into the end zone for yet another Regina Rams touchdown.
Well, St. Leonard keying on that big triple diesel formation and running inside. The Regina Rams wisely elect to go with the little pitch to Mike Maurer, start up that motion exactly the same way as if they're going to go inside the tackles. This time a little pitch to Mike Maurer, takes it around the corner. Easy touchdown for the Regina Rams.
2nd touchdown of the ball game for Michael Maurer.